Vizio's MQ6 TV series doesn't get very bright, but it offers a generally strong picture, good gaming performance and features, and the option for a very big screen at an affordable price. We generally consider an affordable TV to be any model that costs well under $1,000 for a 55-inch screen. There are price tiers within that range, however, with some budget-friendly models costing far less than others. Vizio's MQ6 series, for instance, is a few $100s less than the TCL 6 series, at $579.99 for the 55-inch M55Q6 J. One we tested compared with $899.99 for a TCL model of the same size. It offers excellent color, strong connected features, and fantastic gaming features for its price, though its panel is dim compared with more expensive models and even the similarly priced Hisense H8G and R8F. And while it doesn't have very good contrast, the MQ6 is a solid choice if you're looking for strong color and gaming performance for as little money as possible. The M55Q6 looks sleek and unassuming from the front, with a thin black border around the screen and a matte black plastic band framing the tops and sides. A nearly inch-wide plastic bezel sits at the bottom, with the dark gray brushed metal finish and the Vizio logo in the lower right corner. The TV sits on two V-shaped black plastic legs, located near the edges of the panel. Aside from the permanently attached power cable on the left, all of the M55Q6's ports sit on the right side of the back of the TV. 3 HDMI ports, 1 ARC, and 1 USB port face right, while a set of composite video inputs, stereo RCA and optical audio outputs, an Ethernet port, and an antenna cable connector face directly back. 3 HDMI ports is pretty scant for any TV, so keep that in mind if you have multiple devices to connect. The remote is a simple rectangular black plastic wand with a prominent circular navigation pad. Power, input, home, settings, and dedicated service buttons for Amazon Prime Video, Crackle, Disney+, Netflix, Peacock, Tubi, and Vizio's own watch-free free streaming TV aggregation app sit above the pad. A volume rocker, mute button, and microphone button sit below the navigation pad. The microphone button lets you use a fairly simple voice command feature to control the TV and search for content. Like all Vizio smart TVs, the M55Q6 uses the company's SmartCast platform for connected features, offering a lot of flexibility in a fairly simple, direct interface. The app selection is relatively light, but it has big names like Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Disney+, Hulu, Netflix, and YouTube, and several dozen other streaming services. SmartCast also supports both Apple AirPlay and Google Cast, so you can stream video from your Android phone or iPhone, or any compatible tablet or computer. While it doesn't have its own voice assistant aside from direct TV control and content search, the TV is compatible with Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, and Siri if you want to control it with hands-free voice commands through a smart speaker. The Vizio M55Q6 J is a 4K 60Hz TV that supports high dynamic range, HDR, content in HDR10, HDR10+, Dolby Vision, and hybrid log gamma, HLG. It features auto low latency mode, ALLM, and variable refresh rate, VRR, for gaming. We test TVs with a Klein K80 colorimeter, a Rideo 6G signal generator, and portrait displays Kelman software using methodology based on Imaging Science Foundation's calibration techniques. Out of the box, in calibrated picture mode with an SDR signal, the TV shows a peak brightness of 227.75 CD per square meter for a full screen field of white, and it doesn't get any brighter with the smaller white field, indicating a lack of local dimming for the TV's backlight. Black level is a modest 0.054 CD per square meter, for an equally modest contrast ratio of 4,218:1. Switching to an HDR signal doesn't significantly brighten the picture, producing a peak brightness of 256.623 CD per square meter with a full-screen white field and a black level of 0.062 CD per square meter for a 4139:1 contrast ratio. It isn't very impressive, but getting higher contrast requires spending a couple $100 more for the TCL 6 series, 74,326:1, or the Hisense H8G, 56,104:1. While the M55Q6's contrast doesn't impress, its quantum dot enhanced color performance certainly does. The above charts show color measurements with an SDR signal compared against Rec.709 broadcast standards, and with an HDR signal compared against DCI-P3 digital cinema standards. In calibrated mode, without any other adjustments, the TV's SDR performance is effectively perfect. HDR performance isn't quite as precise, but it's still very accurate with spot-on reds and blues, well-balanced cyans and yellows, and a green reach that exceeds the standard color space. Slightly warm magentas are the only nitpicks we have here. Thanks to the strong color performance, BBC's Planet Earth 2 looks excellent on the M55Q7. The greens of leaves and the blues of water are vibrant and realistic, even on the relatively dim panel. Fine details like fur and bark are easily discernible both in bright sunlight and in shade. It's a crisp, vivid picture that faithfully reproduces the material. The reds on Deadpool's costume in Deadpool also look nicely saturated, appearing balanced and not cool in the overcast lighting of the opening scene. The flames in the burning lab fight look fairly bright, with vibrant yellows and oranges. Details and the shadows of the scene can be clearly seen, though they appear slightly blown out and not very dark. The weak contrast of the M55Q6 is apparent in the party scenes of The Great Gatsby. Depending on the overall amount of stark white to brighten the frame, the cut and contours of black suits and the texture of dark hair either look muddy or washed out. It's easy for fine details to get swallowed by shadows in the darker shots. Skin tones look saturated and natural, though, and any splashes of color in the frame nicely pop out. A 60Hz refresh rate limits how smooth video games can look, but Talman VRR are included for improved gaming performance. More importantly, the TV's input lag, the amount of time between when it receives a signal and the display updates, is excellent. Using an HD Fury Diva HDMI matrix to measure, the M55Q6 showed a modest input lag of 45.3 milliseconds with low latency mode disabled, and an incredibly low lag of 4.7 ms with low latency mode enabled. That's less than a quarter of the 20 ms threshold we use to consider a TV to be very responsive, and easily qualifies the M55Q6 as one of our best TVs for gaming. If you want lower input lag than that, you'll need to consider a smaller, possibly more expensive gaming monitor. The Vizio M55Q6 J is a surprisingly capable TV considering it costs far less than our favorite Hisense and TCL models. Despite its weak contrast and relatively dim panel, it offers a flexible smart TV platform with both Apple AirPlay and Google Cast, strong gaming performance, and a wide, accurate color range. That's plenty to like for a TV you can get in a 55-inch size for under $600. The Hisense H8G and TCL 6 series still offer far superior contrast and much brighter pictures, but the latter is over $200 more. The Hisense U8G is even more impressive and adds hands-free Google Assistant voice control, but it's significantly pricier. If you want to save as much money as you can while still getting a good, colorful picture, the Vizio MQ6 line is a solid choice.